Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of Blockchain Brew Show. We have a fun interview, Volume 1 with JJ Crypto's Corner over here. We are going to have him on the show again. I actually have to change that. It says at JJ. I can fix that. But anyways, guys, so we're going to have a great time. You're going to get to know this gentleman, and we're going to grow in this space together, and it's going to be a blast. So we all want to say thank you for having him on. But before we get started, dabbing. And guys, we have smash that like button, smash that golden like button, not down though, but up, because that's how we prefer it on the show. And we have the subscribe bell. Hit that bell. You'll find it in one of these corners somewhere over there. And we have to ask for that because YouTube hates everybody on here, but our fans over there on Rumble, we don't have to ask over there because those Rumble fans love us. And sometimes the Twitch people, they're in the basement, they come up to say hi to us. And yeah, so let's get started, guys. So Mr. JJ, tell me about yourself. Like, introduce yourself. Tell me what your first coin was, and we'll figure it out. Go from there.
Okay. I'm JJ from JJ's Cryptic Corner, and my first coin, believe it or not, was Litecoin, and I bought it on PayPal. Probably like I like to say at the beginning of last bull run, but it was probably like the middle maybe of the beginning. I made some money, and then I watched it all kind of dwindle away. But I learned about self-custody, and then I got off of PayPal, and then I actually moved on to Voyager, and I had all my money there.
Dude, I had Voyager too.
It was a beautiful app. The user interface was awesome. And then I learned what a spread was, and I was like, wait a second. Whenever I buy here, I'm down like 20% immediately.
Yeah.
And I figured all that out, and I went to go and move, and nothing was happening. It was pending for like 2 weeks. So then I started blowing them up on Twitter, and the CEO actually DM'd me. And I sent him like my customer service trouble code or whatever, and my transfer went through within an hour after that. And then like a month later, I think maybe 2 weeks, they kind of collapsed. Like all of that unfolded just shortly after. And I was like, whoa, I just missed that. I don't know if I was like one of the first people that had a problem, but I definitely dodged a bullet.
Wow. Well, I know with me, so like my first app I started using was actually Robinhood, but I was like, after they froze with the whole Dogecoin thing, that's actually really what got me started was the Dogecoin. I put $100 in there, and I bought 10,000 tokens for $100. And then I was like, I shot up to like $1,000 or something. Like, dude, that was crazy. I gotta buy more. So I put $3,000 in there, and my 3 months later, went up $20,000, and I sold 19 of it. And then the next day I woke up and that $1,000 was $20,000. I sold out, and I was like, okay, that was awesome. I was like, I love crypto. And then we went and moved everything over to Voyager, and we kind of tiptoed and played around with it. And I remember watching everything collapse. And there were rumors that Voyager was going to be the next one. I was like, I need you to sell everything. I told a couple of my friends to get out, and a couple of them went down with that ship. I was like, get out now. I was like, I don't care. It's just a rumor. That freaks me out. And I ended up pulling I had 1 ETH at the time. That's all I had left in the market. And I pulled my 1 ETH. This is mine, baby.
Right.
And then I kid you not, after they collapsed, like probably was like 6 months later, or maybe 3 months later, they sent me a letter and saying that my Ethereum belonged to them. I was like, you have to take me to court to come and get that one.
Yeah, that's so crazy, dude.
I was like, you're not getting that. That was my money.
Dude, the weirdest stuff happened after all of that. It was so crazy. They're like, listen, we know we stole your money, and we know that you took some of it back, but you have to give it back to us. Like, what?
Yeah. They're like, no, that's not gonna happen. I mean, for one, Ethereum, at the time was like $1,100. We're in the middle of the crash of $1,300. I'm like, the price for them to take me to court. I'm such a small fry, wouldn't even be worth it.
Right. I was getting letters and emails and stuff from BlockFi for a little while for like $7 worth of ETH. I was like, give it to somebody else.
Yeah, $7.
It's not even worth the time for me to read this email.
Right. That's what I was thinking too. Dude, BlockFi, man, that was a huge crypto RSS push, man. I actually was like trying to figure out how to sign up for it at one point in time.
I was considering using it to build like retirement, which is crazy. Could you imagine if I would have just been putting like half of my DCA money into it every week for like a year? That would have sucked.
Right. Dude, I know that would have sucked. I think a lot of some of my retirement ideas, I've gotten a lot wiser now on how to maneuver and like a tier one safe exchange that survived all of that. I actually am really bullish on crypto.com because I think the names there for the like millennials and the Gen Zs, like .com is what that we all grew up on.
Right.
And I think that will be huge to help build, go after the nest eggs, all that nest egg money is over there. And I think as they continue to grow, they will do wonderful. And I really think the crypto.com card is a phenomenal tool to help grow that. And I do you know they're coming out with a credit card?
I did not know about the credit card. I knew about the debit cards.
Yeah, they'll have a credit card coming out in the next couple months. And I'm from Washington State. And something that I always tell people is from Washington, crypto.com is using this as a test site. And we can buy stocks on crypto.com. And I think it's almost, they're going after like Robinhood market, because Robinhood, you could buy some crypto and stocks.
Right.
And now crypto.com is going after crypto and some stocks. You can do all crypto and stocks, but crypto is going faster and moving quicker than stocks.
Yeah.
And then another thing too, Coin Baron, we had an interview with him a few weeks ago, and he was actually telling us that when Alan Machinsky, the CEO of crypto.com, went, and before the Trump dinner, he had a meeting with Trump, talk about like crypto regulations and stuff like that, when XRP and Paul Atkins was down there. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. I could feel it coming on, and it's gone. No,
it's Chris Marzalek. Alan Mashinsky was Celsius.
Sorry, thank you. Correct that, Trent, please. We were talking about the crash, and I had my name going down. Anyways, yeah. Alan Mashinsky is Celsius. Chris Marzalek, was down there. Regardless, so they went down and had their meeting, and next thing we knew, Chris came back out and he goes, "Dude, that was the best meeting I've ever had. We can't really tell you exactly, obvious reasons, what we talked about, but he said the golden age for crypto.com is coming upon us." And then they got some scary news, and he said they burned 70% of the supply last bull run, and they're reminting.
I saw that
70%. And we were taking a look at that yesterday. It's every month on the 16th until 2030, 1.17% of the supply is being reminted. Now, that's kind of scary news. And there was a couple of things that were pros and cons to that. Is we were kind of nervous because we don't want them to dump on everybody's heads. But currently, that wallet's still being held there. And I was kind of curious on what if they send that to the Trump wallet, like the state one, and everything's locked in there for 10 years. So I thought that would be an interesting way to get like, hey guys, we want to be part of, because they weren't included in the 5 coins that they're going to hold for the reserve. Well, what if Chris sends like, hey, here's 5% of the Crow token supply, we're sending it over to the federal government into that wallet? Like, that would be wild. I felt like. Yeah. And then another thing is that a lot of people don't understand this, which is actually it's almost a genius move. And because they had some of the support to do this remint, is a lot of people don't understand is that when you mint that amount of tokens, their market cap is going to increase that amount every month, no matter what, because that's how market cap works. Like, you think it's about liquidity, and it's not totally about liquidity in creating the market cap. So the crypto.com's market cap by 2030, going off of whatever we are right now, is going to increase almost 3 times. So, market cap's like 2.5 billion. Well, at this current rate, 3 times, you almost be a $10 billion project, which I think is quite incredible move. Now, a lot of people, I'm still talking about crypto.com, but with the node validators, people were freaking out because they're like, well, why would they even bother doing a vote? Because they know they own the majority of the nodes, And that's true. But knowing that, they also didn't have to ask. They could have just did it. And, it's still centralized. But if there was such an uproar and everybody hated it so much, they could have unstaked and moved it to an off-brand node, which kind of showed that people didn't like the decision, but they also didn't like it enough where they wanted to move. And I also come at it from, I don't think they'll ever do this again. I think they're going to really, for the majority, leave the token supply alone, because they also, funny enough, have a burn mechanic they built into the roadmap this year, and it actually came out. I'm not entirely sure how the quantity is burned. It's something to do with like transactions and volume, blah 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 blah. But I think they want to get them back to a base level and then do like a slow burn, kind of like what BNB does. Every quarter they burn, and that's what their goal was, is to almost mimic BNB.
Right.
But honestly, I mean, you'll know this better than I do, is that most chains are centralized till they're not.
Right.
I mean, almost like every single one of them is centralized. Like, look at Ethereum. Why do you think Ethereum Classic exists?
Right.
And you got all the Polygon and is centralized, and I'm sure you got, I don't know. I think a lot of them are. Like, look at Sui. What's your opinion on Sui and the Cetus?
I really like the project. The Cetus exploit was definitely an anomaly that resulted in a lot of Sui being dumped on the open market, or at least taken. I don't think it got dumped. I think they managed to freeze it.
60% was frozen.
Yeah, which is also kind of crazy, but yeah, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. I really like the project, but when a huge liquidity protocol like that gets exploited, and they kind of like show their hand even more, and they're like, "Oh, we can just take your money."
Yeah,
it's a little bit alarming for somebody who's in crypto, the way that I am, and most of us are.
Yeah,
But I do like the project.
I do like the project too. I come at this from a different perspective, I think, than a lot of people do. Is with that Cetus hack, it did alarm me a lot. Okay, you pitch yourself as decentralized, and then clearly you're not. And I don't know if you know this, that they actually got together and they did like almost like a 51% hack on themselves, and they created the nodes. They all got together and froze that. All in the same agreement. That's how that kind of went down. And I think this is where the F up was, is because, Sui's like a 10, 12, 14 billion market cap. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they obviously have some capital. And I think this would have really actually made the project go up in volume versus down when that hack happened, is instead of freezing the exchange, they just said, well, that sucks, ate the loss, picked some of the liquidity, and just paid everybody out. Sorry, guys, that happened. We patched it. Here's your money back. Boom, like that. People would have been like, dude, that would have been freaking crazy. People would have went aped into it. Like, dude, they just paid us all back. That was awesome.
That just happened recently with, I think the coin was called Alex, and it had to do with stacks. Yeah. And there was some big exploit that resulted in a bunch of STX being stolen and sold on the open market, which dumped the price. And Stacks came out and said, we're reimbursing everybody 100%, but this is what happened, and we've since fixed it.
Wow.
That also happened with KuCoin, probably a year before last bull market.
Yeah.
And KuCoin got like hacked or exploited, and like $100 million was stolen, some ridiculous amount of money. No one even knew. They caught it. The money was taken. They fixed the problem, and then they paid everybody back before anyone was even aware.
Yeah.
And then they came out, they were like, listen, this happened. We fixed it, and we paid you all back. There's nothing to worry about, but we wanted to be transparent and let you know that this did occur. And that made me really open to using KuCoin. That was right after Voyager and everything. So I started using KuCoin. Then they forced KYC, so I eventually left. But
yeah. And I think that's the proper way to do it. Now, maybe the reasons they didn't do it that way is, I also understand this perspective. You can't just have one, right? Well, I don't believe crypto is going to be mass adopted till you almost don't even realize you're using it. People like that safety net.
The invisible blockchain.
Like the internet. Like, I use the internet all the time. I don't know anything about coding and what it takes to go on in the background, and anything about like the servers that are being ran and where they're being ran. Like, I just click the button and boom, there it is.
You know the game Off the Grid?
Oh yeah, I played it too. Have you played it?
It's super fun. You have no idea it has anything to do with crypto, and it's a ton of fun. And there was articles coming out about it. They're like, the Off the Grid success is attributed to the invisible blockchain, and why everything should be adopted this way, because you're not trying to shove some narrative down people's throat. If I want to play a game, I just want to play a game. I don't care about money or finances or anything like that. other people do, they'll
Yeah.
find it, you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly, man. Well, not. I think that's just. I think we're getting there, but I don't think we're there yet.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Right.
obviously, which is good for us because it gives us
Mhm.
more time to make money. And then, what I was saying with Sui is, I think a lot of people, big money. I shouldn't say a lot of people. A lot of big money. They like that safety net. They like to be able.
Right.
They want it to be frozen. They're not afraid. They're a big whale. They want the money protected. That's what they care about.
Mhm.
And maybe it was like Sui's way of showing, hey, we can do that. You guys
Right.
can use us if you want, and
Mhm.
which it's kind of like a scary thing, but I think mass adoption is going to need that safety net. I don't know if you've ever used like a Ledger or a Treasure or any of those like cold wallets. Man, they scare the bejeebus out of me every time I send money in and out of there. I'm like,
Yeah.
please, like I got rid of like all that, that wallet, the paper thing. I wrote it all down.
Mhm.
I keep it in my safe, and every single time, like I put those numbers in them. Like, please effing
Mhm.
work. Please effing work. That will just suck. And
Right.
I'm a Trent is with you, or assuming with you, is I'm very like I like that bank like feel, and that's why I keep using a lot of the exchanges. I keep my money on a lot of these exchanges, not all on one. I kind of spread myself out,
Mhm.
and I like that because man, it takes a lot of stress off me every time I put those stupid numbers in there. If they was like smoother and like I knew I could get in there and I can knew like password reset or whatever a seed
Mhm.
phrase and get access, I would totally use cold storage. But
Right.
more money is actually lost on cold storage wallets
Yeah,
than
I believe it.
exchanges,
Mhm.
even with the fees, which is
Right.
crazy.
Which actually kind of goes to show you why banks worked in the first place. People
Hmm.
are irresponsible, or maybe just I don't know if negligent is the right word.
That could be
But,
a
we
good
got
one too.
other stuff to worry about. I don't want to worry about where my money is tucked away in my home, and then something happens
Yeah.
that's completely out of my control, and my money's gone. you
Well,
know?
I have three boys, and I think about that all the time. I'm like, well, what if something happens to me
Mhm.
and my wife, God forbid, and then my brother-in-law comes over and he's all like, hey, I can't find their seed phrase to give to their
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Well, there goes all nest egg.
Right.
At that time, my XRP is going to be $589.
Right.
So,
And you also got to think about it too. You have a relative pass away or whatever. You're going through stuff. You see a piece of paper with 24 words written on it. This is junk. You throw it in the garbage. You're probably
yeah,
not even going through pieces of paper.
yeah. That's kind of like one of my biggest things too. Is so I told you I'm a garbage guy, man, right?
Mhm.
I always look for old laptops that have been chucked
Right.
because I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I wonder there's like 8 Bitcoin on here. And back
Right.
in 2008, 2012 era, people those
Mhm.
I can guarantee you there's still laptops in people's garages they totally forgot about.
Probably.
And you
Yeah.
power that sucker up, I bet you $100 if if it has password, that
Mhm.
sucker's written down in the
Right.
Microsoft Word or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, oh dude, that would be so lit.
Mhm.
I would feel terrible though if I found and the other person forgot about it. I might reach out like,
Right.
I'll give you 50-50. Like you
Right.
can have half of it because your mistakes can cost you. But good news is that also you get a lot of money out of it. So
Right. Of course,
you
dude.
know. But well, yeah, I like it, man. It's fun. I like being a
Oh
garbage
yeah.
guy. You find all sorts of cool stuff.
Dude, one of my favorite memes is it's like people talking about back in school. They're like the teacher would always be like, you need to learn this stuff or you're gonna be the garbage man. They didn't tell you that the garbage man got paid more than they did.
Yeah, right. Dude, we crush it here, dude. I make like $47 an hour.
There's
And,
great money in it.
I make
I just saw waste
double
management
time.
stock too is up like 400 or 500% just in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, it's nice because like I don't feel like I'm bothered. I used to work at
Right.
Boeing building aircrafts, and you always have like
Hmm.
a manager like breathing down your shoulder. But
Yep.
to me, it's like you get in your truck, and at first it's super intimidating. But dude, it's like secondhand nature now, dude. I played a lot of
Hmm.
video games, and it's fun. You just bam, you grab it, you jump
Absolutely.
it, and then some people, like I like trying to grab bags off the ground with my pinchers. I go in there, I try to grab them, I try to chuck them and throw them in my bin, and you see if I can get
Hmm.
them. Like, let's see if I get it this time. Oh, dang it, I didn't
That's
work.
awesome.
But dude, there's a lot of fun stuff. But I was one time. Dude, actually, I don't know if I told the story on here yet. This was a couple years ago on the route I have today, but I didn't have it yet. And I grabbed this box, I threw it out, and I got back in my truck. And I was sitting there, and I was looking at this box I just threw out, and I was like, there are cables coming out of it. And I was like, dude, like I gotta look, man. Like it's gonna bother me if I don't look.
Right.
And so I went over there, and I got out of my truck, and I opened up this box, and I'm like unpacking it. Dude, that cable was a Super Nintendo controller.
No way.
And there was 2 of them in there wrapped up, or one was unwrapped. One was wrapped up. And then it had an SNES in there with 3 games, a Duck Hunt gun, and the power supply. And I was looking at it, and you know, like when you leave something in front of like a window, like it gets sun faded.
Yeah,
this thing was like mint, bro. It was like in mint condition because you could tell like the kids probably went to college, they packed it up and just put it on the shelf for 20 years. They got rid of it.
That's
it was
awesome.
like no dust on it. And then I brought it home and opened it up, and it had like Super Mario Bros. Like 2 in it. And I was like, this is so sweet, man.
That's so sick. Dude, I would get in so much trouble if I worked for any kind of garbage company or anything like that. I would be bringing stuff home all the time. I already do that. Like I had when we first moved in where we're at right now, we had like 3 or 4 coffee tables, and I kept finding them. And I'm like, this coffee table's cool. My fiance's like, why do we need all these coffee tables? I'm like, this one's shaped like the MasterCard logo. Yeah. There's a glass circle on one side, the other side. It's too cool. I couldn't just leave it there.
Yeah.
It got to a point where there had to be like a proper intervention. She's like, we don't need any more tables. We need to get rid of some. I was like, okay, I'm ready.
It's like trying to choose between the cryptos. You're trying to consolidate your portfolio. Like, I love all these coins. They're all going to do great.
For real.
But yeah, dude, like right now I have this. It's called, it's just on the side of the box, just a cyber power. And I threw it in there. I was talking about this the other day, and I have this rule is if I'm in my truck and I see something that gets thrown in there, like it was in the guy's can, you know, I dumped it, and I was looking at this box, and my rule is if I ever see anything that's in a box, it still has its styrofoam or wrapped around whatever it is in there, I have to get out and check. And this dude, he had, I don't know if it's like for a backup server like style, it's a heavy duty power surge protector, and it runs your computer for like 2 hours afterwards.
Okay, so it's got the battery built into it.
Yeah, it's like it has a digital screen. I think it's like a $250 item online, and it's brand new in the box.
I got I think one of my biggest garbage picks was surround sound receiver, and it was like an $800 receiver. I was like, why does this even exist? And I think I sold it for like $200.
Dude, score, man. My wife, she always tells me I'm kind of like a hoarder, and I'm like, maybe I am, because I like to put things on offer up, but sometimes I'm like, dude, I'm so busy. I think it'd also be fun because like I put a lot of stuff on the corner of our property, and all the neighbors that drive by our road, they stop there all the time at grab stuff. And I'm like, dude, I should just take the stuff that I don't value, other people value. I'm like, I should just grab everything that I value and just put it on that corner and just let people take it. People be like, dude, this guy always is giving away sweet stuff.
Right.
You know, they call it the sweet corner. Yeah, we totally got distracted though. I love it though, man. Rabbit holes and stuff. So are you married? You got kids?
I'm not married yet. Not yet. We've been together for 15 years.
Wow.
And
you look like the same age as me.
14-year-old daughter.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Oh, okay. I'm 31.
Nice.
So we're all the same age. Wow, you've been together for 15 years?
Yeah, high school sweethearts.
You, good for you, dude. And you guys stuck it out. Me and my wife, we met on Tinder, and we got married 6 weeks later.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, we met Tinder and Bumble and then Tinder again. I'm like, look, woman, obviously we keep matching up. So you need to go out with me or stop wasting my time.
You're right.
What do you think about... Whoa, Crow's down 10%. Ooh,
yeah, look at STX is down too. Still going down after that.
STX?
Yeah, top right.
Oh, wow, it is down.
Yeah.
STX, that's a layer built on top of Bitcoin, right?
I'm not sure how they have it set up, but there's a protocol called Alex that I think is its own thing. They had a large supply of STX, and that was where that exploit or hack happened, and a good chunk of it was stolen and sold. I'm
pretty bullish on STX. Have you ever heard of White Rock?
I have not. I have
Well,
not.
we were talking about this lately on this stream. So they came out back in December. So it's only been out like 6 months. But that was
Mhm.
interesting. Obviously, you see this shoot up right here. If you go on X and you go to White Rock, they actually are an RWA play. And I think
Okay.
it's Saudi Arabia is using them tokenized oil on their
Mhm.
blockchain. And I don't know too much about them, but they're not very well listed on a lot of places to have a large market cap like that, or
Right.
top 100 project in 6 months is quite impressive. So I've been keeping my
That
eye
is
on them. It's
impressive.
hard because they've been pumping so dang hard.
Right. Yes, dude, that's what happened with Sweeties. Sometimes you just like they say don't chase green candles, but sometimes you just gotta just gotta send it.
Yeah, right. So I'm just yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm like, it's so good, but I'm not into it. Do you like memes? Are you into SPX 6900?
I don't own any, but I do like it.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
actually
whoa! You can't
I
say
actually
that.
I actually just bought Bigfoot vlogs
Big
on
block.
Soul just before I got on here with you.
You have to own Snack.
Oh yeah, I'm all in on snack.
Yeah, you got your memes, man.
Hmm.
I used to have. Where's Snack at? I'll tell you. I used to own it when I was hard into Ada. I owned a lot of Snack. I bought Snack down here. I put 10 grand into it,
Damn.
and I sold it right here.
Oh yeah.
And I missed the entire pump. Like, son of a gun every time,
Dude,
man.
that happened to me with Avalanche last bull market. And so I
Oh,
always tell people I'm like I have an irrational hate for Avalanche.
yeah, dude, I know, man. I was like so bummed. I was like, dang it.
Dude,
I hear,
Avalanche was like 30, $25 for like it felt like a year. And then I was like, screw this. I sell it. And then it goes up to like 35, 45 all-time high. And I'm like, what the hell?
dude, I did that with XRP, bro. I had 110,000 XRP,
Hmm.
and during the May hype, everybody pitched at me. They're like, "Oh, that's a dead coin." I'm like, "Dude, I love it," and everything was pumping around me,
Hmm.
everything. And I was
Yep.
like, "Oh, we're making money. You should just diversify a little bit." So
Hmm.
I did, but I bought all the green. The
Yep.
green, man, I became extra liquidity. I still own a lot of XRP, but I
Hmm.
was like, right now, I'm going fudge a duck, dude. If I just
Yeah.
held it, I would be crushing it.
Oh yeah.
I still think XRP, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the gentleman All in Crypto.
I am.
Rupert,
I love all in crypto.
I love All in Crypto too, man. And he has an 8-year chart for XRP at $19.27. I'm like, dude, that's what I think, man. I'm like, it could get there.
Dude,
I
all
think
in
8 to
crypto
12, but
is like one of the only channels that I religiously watch.
yeah, I like him. He has that real like vibe. My goal is to get him on our show at one point in time. I
That'd be
think he's somebody
awesome.
that would be really cool to be down to earth with.
Right.
He owns a lot of stocks too, and I'm like, man, I wish I had
Hmm.
money to buy stocks. If I could, I'd buy Circle and I would buy
Dude,
Coinbase and
I've been talking up Roblox for like a year and I didn't
yeah,
buy any. I didn't buy any. And it just exploded recently. I was like,
dude,
dang it. How did I not? Yeah, it was $50 in April.
yeah. Oh
It's
man,
$95 right now.
oh man, that
Hmm.
sucks, dude. I was talking up Coinbase stock and telling everyone to buy it at $30. I was like, I do buy
Yeah.
crypto. I'm like, I do crypto, man. I don't
Hmm.
want to do that. F me sideways. The people
Yep.
say it doesn't move like crypto. I bought that, dude. I'd be doing way better than all
For real. I'm like every time I look at a different stock, I'm like, man, why are we doing this crypto thing?
that. I know. I'm like, it's all regulated, and I'm
Yeah.
keeping them. I was like, frick me sometimes, but that's the name of the game. And
Right.
like I said, hopefully after this bull run, I have price targets in my numbers. I'll probably tell you off the screen that I hope I get and passive income. I'm like, okay, I have this. My strategy is next bull run is 25% goes into Bitcoin, 25% into blue chips,
Hmm.
25% I could play around with whatever meme coins or whatever, smaller caps, and then
Hmm.
25% I'm gonna keep in cash. And I feel like if
Right.
you have that balanced kind of portfolio, you'll do quite
Yeah.
well. And you can throw that in some stocks and buy a
Hmm.
little of that. I was
I
listening
feel
to
like diversity is criminally underrated in investing in general. Nobody really talks about having like a diverse portfolio.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's true, man. Nobody does talk about it. And I don't know if you did this mistake. is last bear market. I was like, okay, Bitcoin pumps, but it didn't. The alts pump way harder than Bitcoin, so I'm gonna go all in on alts, and so I went all in on alts.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang it, man! Because when Bitcoin hit
dude, Bitcoin's up like
1,000.
What is it? It's up like a ridiculous amount from 5x. It's up 5x.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
And I was like, dude, I went all in, dude. I remember the day like FTX crashed. I saw Bitcoin go to 15,500. I was talking to my wife on the phone because we sold our house. We had some house money on the side, and I said, babe, this is the moment. This is the bottom. Buy. Because we bought all of our coins then, but we bought the alts. They dropped another 80%.
Yeah.
I was like, son of a gun. I thought when Bitcoin was going up, they would all go up with it.
Yeah.
But harder.
So my mom told me this was last bull market. Doge was going crazy. Elon had just started talking about it. My mom goes, how do I buy some of this dog coin? I'm like, you don't want to buy it right now. I'll tell you when. And I call her. Bitcoin's at 17K now. It's been a couple of years. I call her on my way home from work, and it goes to voicemail. And I left her a voicemail. I said, you told me to let you know when to get into crypto. Now's that time. She never called me back, ghosted me. And then after that, every like 3 or 4 grand, I would text her the price. I'd be like, Bitcoin's at 20K. Bitcoin's at 25K. Bitcoin's at 30K. And it went all the way up to 100K.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I have so many memories, man, with that last bear market, dude. Did you see that Netflix is coming out with a TV series with Sam Bankman-Fried and Ellison?
I did, yeah. And I saw people, the people that are playing them look really pretty.
I know.
And I saw people like flipping the genders, and it actually kind of looked like the right characters. I was like, that actually kind of works.
I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the pick for Caroline Ellison.
But if the dude plays Caroline, he looks just like her. And then if the chick plays SPF, she looks just like him. Somebody like flipped it, and it looks perfect. I was like, wow, that's awesome. I think I showed it on my stream at one point.
That's hilarious.
It was pretty good.
I'm really nervous about Fortcoin. I can't buy a coin called Fortcoin. I just can't do it. I'm sorry.
Dude, I love the name. I completely faded it.
Faded it? You're like, nah.
Faded. I did the same thing with Goat. You can probably find this. This is in one of my earlier streams when Goat like just came out. Yeah. It was probably at like 5-6 million. I was looking at everything. I'm looking at the wallets, and I straight face said to my stream, I was like, this thing is gonna effing rug. And it went to $500 million market cap. I was like, oh, dang.
Funny, crazy story. So this is 3 nights ago, dude. My wife, she's like hardcore in the ultra micro cap coins. Like that, she loves the memes. Yeah. And I wake up a couple of days ago, and I'm at work. Actually, I go to work, whatever. And she calls me up. She goes, "Hey, honey." I'm like, "Hey." And she goes, "Well, up 150 grand." I'm like, "What'd you buy?" She goes, "I put $1,000 in X, Y, and Z." And I'm like, "What?" Like, that's wild.
That's awesome.
She held way too much of the liquidity to mass sell.
Right.
But she's up. Like, she's taken over like 12x profit on it, and she still has like another. She halved out of it at some point, and she still has a good sharehold. I was like, wow, that's wild.
That's awesome.
No, freaking, but dude, I'm really worried about Fartcoin because like this, like I don't like how this particular chart works. It shoots up, shoots down, shoots up, shoots down. Like I've never seen like this motion before. And then if you go over here and you look at it, it's like higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. And now it's like lower high. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
What? Why? Yeah. Why is it doing that? Like, you know, you'd think that it should have came up here or popping up. Like it's at some sort of, if you draw a line right here, it's at a very crucial level. You know, if it drops back down, you could either be buying the bottom right at that level, or you're buying, or it's going to come down. And watching it drop as much as it has every single day, that is not a great. That doesn't look super great for me, especially you got like I own a lot of turbo. I'm a huge turbo guy, and sometimes I wish I was in other things when they pump, but I'm not, and you can't be in everything, right? But SPX, man, is absolutely doing numbers. This is almost like what Fartcoin should be doing is what SPX is doing.
Right.
Dude,
I saw this meme. Somebody tweeted, "Richest man in the world fighting with the most powerful man in the world. Global trade war." And then Coinbase, Coinbase posted, "Assets added to the roadmap today. Fart coin."
That's great, man. Did you have an experience with Shiba?
I did not.
Dude, I remember because I was really big into Dogecoin, and I have this buddy of mine. We were both coworkers, and he goes, "Hey, now it's Shiba Inu time." I'm like, "No, it was Doge was the dog coin. I don't care anything about the Shiba coin, dude. Shiba ran so unbelievably hard.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I really whiffed that one.
Yeah.
And I'm not a dog with hack person. I'm sure you can make money there. My Solana meme pick is Bonk. I think Bonk is going to do numbers. I do. And it looks like it's getting ready again.
I'm historically bad at soul memes, like really bad. I will say, just this past month, I think I made 100% on Harambe, and because I had it in my phone from last year, I was like, Harambe's death anniversary is coming up. We should front run it and buy it. And then I saw that in my calendar like a month ahead of time, and I was like, I'm gonna front run my front run. And as soon as I was up 2x, I sold.
Yeah,
and it went up a little bit more, and then it crashed right down.
Right back down.
R.I.P. Harambe.
Right.
Thank you for the gains.
My uncle says soul memes are mean. He says they are mean. Like Ethereum, they don't dump as fast because the fees that they have to, the liquidity they have to provide to get going is compared to Sol is like insane. How do you feel about Picoin?
I'm 50-50 on it. I'm glad that the people that participated in it for so long got a payout, but I personally I feel like I missed the boat, and I'd rather, I guess, sit on the sidelines and watch it run and miss out on those gains than buy now and potentially get rugged, or maybe make like what, a 2-3x. The risk reward doesn't make sense for me personally, but I'm glad that the people that have put time into it for all those years finally got paid back.
Yeah, right. So. I'm still holding my bag, and what's funny is that everybody's gotten paid back. Like my wife, she staked it like a year ago, and she can't unstake it for another year.
Damn, dude, people made a ton of money on it. It's crazy how much money they made.
Oh yeah, they did. It's wild. I also speculate, where did they get the liquidity?
Right.
That's what I don't understand is where the liquidity came from. But I also have not been paying attention to any of their announcements for like 2 years. So that could be also a problem with it. But there was a lot of people skeptical about Picoin. I tried to trade it, and the volatility was wild on like the exchanges because they had no liquidity really back in the coin. So people trading it with leverage was insane.
Dude, it's kind of crazy though, the whiplash that you get when you go from bear market to bull market. Even now, like the charts are relatively stable, choppy. When moves do happen, you're like like it's very very jarring.
Yeah. Dude,
I remember having to use like 30x on like 0.3% candles on a 4-hour chart during the bear market just to like make like $5-10 on a trade.
Dude, I know.
Now I can't do, I got to do single digits. Otherwise I'll get wrecked.
Yeah, dude, right? That's how I feel too. I get wrecked all the time. I'm still working on my master trades. Actually, I'm been playing around with different exchanges and stuff like that, figuring out what's best to trade on. And the fees is what always gets me. I'm always up, but if I close it out just shy, or I'm trying to keep it from crashing, I lose out on the fees. I'm like, dang it. Yeah. So I haven't fully mastered that part yet. Are you an Ondo guy? You liking the Ondo?
I do like Ondo, yes.
Really? Yeah, man. You hold any?
Yeah, not as much as everything else, but it's one of my non Cardano related plays.
Yeah.
Which is rare.
What's going to Cardano, man? Like, tell me about what the Cardano ecosystem and
Strike Finance, Strike and Bodega right now. If you go to Tap Tools, you can look at the charts.
Oh, we Tap Tools all the time. If you
do you know how to love it.
Do you have the ability to share your screen? Is there? I've never tested this out. On the bottom, do you see a present on the bottom of your screen?
Yeah, I do see, and it says share screen.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, let me see. Let's see how this goes. Share screen.
Oh, weird. I'm like
so
trying
you
to
can
find
share it
my
easily.
mouse, and my mouse is. I see it on the bubble screen, but I'm looking at the StreamYard. I'm trying to. I have multiple monitors. I don't know if you do or not.
I do. I got 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
All right.
All right. Can you see it?
It's on the bottom. So
Okay.
if you can actually click add to stage like that.
Click add to stage.
Oh, I got you already.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Bodega is a prediction market, which is literally just like Polymarket, but on Cardano. And
Oh,
it's only got a $9 million fully diluted value, 7.2 million market cap right now. It's very small, but it's picking up steam fast, and it's kind of climbing with Strike. Strike is actually decentralized perps, so leverage trading on chain, no KYC, and Strike is exploding right now. It's still only $24 million market cap, fully diluted value, 17.8 actual market cap with circulating supply. But this thing, I've been keeping an eye on it, been slowly accumulating. I wish I could say that I bought down here, but I didn't. I think I bought probably either around here or here, somewhere in this area. But I'm up a lot, like tremendously. I feel like I just bought it, and I'm like looking at my portfolio. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I look at Strike, and I was like, whoa, this is very nice. I like the new ranking in my bags when it starts to flip stuff, So Strike is just, I feel like decentralized leverage is, I don't want to say undervalued or underrated, but it's very overlooked. And I think people are going to realize more and more how valuable it is.
Dude, do you understand that how it operates, or like from a business perspective?
People provide liquidity and they get paid out like a percentage whenever people trade. It's kind of, think of it like a referral almost, in a way. But because you're providing liquidity, there's a lot larger return potential.
Sure. That makes me think of like Antarctic Exchange. Have you heard of Antarctic?
I feel like I'm familiar with it. I definitely feel like I recognize the name.
Antarctic, I know, like it's like the new up and coming hot one, and it's made by traders for traders. And how it works is like right now you can't do like crazy ass longs, which would be way crazier than anything I could do anyways. But like they're like you can't trade more than 250 grand because they are a similar scenario that people have to provide liquidity, and then they pay you out in portions of the fees. But there's no market makers in it. It's PvP, trader against trader. And I think they said that's like if you use somebody's referral thing, like the limit orders are 0%, and there's like a 0.01% taker fee when you sell. Like, oh, that's kind of neat, kind of cool. I haven't tried it out yet, but yeah, why not, right?
Right.
Tell us about this next system, man. What have I been missing out on the snackies? I see that you got your energy drinks over there.
Oh yeah. I mean, snack is just nonstop freight train. Let me see if I can. I got 2 sites that I can show. Let me share my screen again.
So you said that you first got into crypto with right around Voyager. So that's like, I think 2020, right?
Probably 2019, 2020, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the first one. Whysnack.com.
Did you make any money that bull run and keep it?
I did not take profits, no.
I know, right?
Completely round trip. I made a decent chunk during the bear market, though.
Yeah, let me add you to screen.
Okay, so Snack, I could probably explain it better than this website that I've never gone to. But they got their website, they got the Memecoin, there's the Sneckies NFTs, which earn revenue.
What's the price of them right now?
I'm not sure, actually. Let me double check. It's not high. So they do mining with Sneckies, so you earn a portion, and it's not a lot. It was higher in terms of Sneck because you get paid out in Sneck. So technically speaking, it's pumping. It's self bag pumping because the miners are mining Bitcoin or Doge or CAS, and then they're converting that to SNEC. So it is literally just adding liquidity, adding money to the market cap. So the floor right now is only 178 ADA, which is
that's pretty good.
$118. It's a great deal. So that's revenue earning, and it's pumping the bags, adding to SNEC's market cap. And then there's SNEC Energy, which is also adding to SNEC's market cap. And they just came out with the limited edition Year of the SNEC.
How much is that?
Delicious. Okay, so I don't know the actual price at the moment because I bought the special edition Year of the SNEC, and it was like $50 to ship it as well. So it was a little pricey. But you used to be able to get them at my secret source was Snake Discovery. They sold individual cans for a little while. It was a relatively decent price, but they're about to print the second edition. The Year of the SNEC is limited, so those are not being sold anymore. And then the first edition, they only had a certain quantity as well. So they're getting ready to print the second edition, and you'll probably be able to buy them after that. And the latest edition, so you also have SNEC Fun, which is the pump fund on Cardano. That is also earning fees and adding to SNEC's market cap. And then SNEC Figures just came out, and they're really cool. They're not vinyl, they're resin. Really cool resin figures, all handmade, all like beautiful, I don't know, craftsmanship. They're expensive. They're expensive. They're only 1,111 of them, and they're $200 a piece. And they ship out in 3 months. Wow. I went through this whole ordeal. The credit card payment thing went down, and I'm at work. I'm like on my job site. I'm calling my fiance, and I'm like, you gotta buy this. She's like, what do you mean? For me. I'm like, you gotta go on this website and try to buy it. She's like, it's not working. And I'm like, shoot. So then I called her back like a half hour later. I'm like, okay, I think they fixed it. And then she went through and bought it. And I'm not sure what one I got yet, but I'm kind of stoked.
Dude, that's sick. Are they sold out? Or are they still selling them?
They're still selling. It's been a couple of days. They've sold 623 of them, so they just reached the halfway point. Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of neat, man.
I'm excited. I'm a bit of a SNEC maxi, obviously justifying $200 for a little resin figure. Yeah, it's a little. It seems crazy. I was a little standoffish at first, but then there's a video that they shared. Let me see if I can find it and then share it on their Twitter of them making a couple of them, and they literally like have to hand paint every single one of them, and it's really cool. I was like, okay, this completely justifies the price.
Yeah, right, because you like, I don't want to buy something that's 3D printed for $200,
right? But you know,
did you find the video?
I can't find it. It's not loading all of them either for some reason.
So how did you find SNEC? What got you into it? Because I found SNEC because I was like, that's the #1 meme coin pick for it. Cardano. You know what's funny is I had my buddy, he bought SNEC like I think a week after it launched, and he put like $100 into it, and then he sold it for like $200 profit. But you know how much that's be worth right now?
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I bought SNEC very early, and it was kind of an accident. I wasn't like deep into the ecosystem and observing everything. I was literally just kind of moseying around doing my thing, and I'm like, oh, this looks fun. Somebody just talking about it. I was like, I'll put a couple bucks into it. And I just kept adding to it, and it exploded. And I'm like, whoa, I think SNEC I made the second most money on. Here it is. And the first was actually Nike Pig on Cardano, which is Charles.
You should click the video and expand it.
Can you still see it? There you go.
Yeah, that's sweet. Watch it.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then they airbrush. Each one's hand painted. There's a limited supply, which is neat. But I'm like, it's a toy, but it's not really a toy, dude. This is like designer. People pay a lot of money for that, and then I was like freaking out when I saw this part. I'm like, they have to mask every single figure like this. It's the most meticulous thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, especially 1,000 of them. Do they have all 1,000 of them created?
No, they're so that's what the 3-month thing is. They're creating them as we speak.
I wonder how much Sneck put in to have somebody do this.
I don't know I think they're getting paid from the sale, and then a portion of it goes. I think a portion of it either gets burned or goes back into Sneck.
Do you think Sneck will have a secondary market for this or no?
Oh, probably. I don't know how, but probably maybe eBay. There's Sneck Energy on eBay.
Is there really?
Yeah, you can buy individual cans. You can buy open empty cans or full ones.
Empty cans. Oh, this is gone. Tastes good though. You can have the cans for the collection. Right. Dude, yeah, I saw Sneck, man. George was talking about Sneck and what's the other one on AVAX? Cock in you.
Yes.
Dude, yeah. I couldn't get behind that one either. Like, dude, I'm not buying that. I'm sorry. Like, I wish those guys luck, but that's the dumb meme coin name.
Dude, on Cardano, somebody recently, they were like, I think Cardano's kind of gay. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, dude, look at all the meme coins. There's Sneck, there's Dong, there's Cock. I was like, oh, shoot, you might be right.
Isn't like one of the largest people on X is Stake with Pride, right?
Yeah, for Cardano, yep. Yeah, I love them, dude.
Yeah, they're cool. Take a look at some Bitcoin chart action. What we got going on? Erase my previous day drawings because they didn't mean anything. We have a flag and we bounced and we're bouncing again. Kind of watching on the 24-minute. I use Market Cipher.
I use Fu Manchu Cipher B, the free Manchu. The great value version of Market Cipher.
In my defense, I didn't buy this actually. My good friend BitBoy bought it for me before he went to jail. Unfortunately. But okay, thanks, Ben. Thanks, Ben. What we got going on, man? We got freaking 24-minute. It hasn't completed yet. I'm just trying to look at it. Oop. See what we got. Is there a little bit bearish divergence? Not finished forming yet. We're actually still technically pumping because the blue oscillator waves haven't crossed over. The green money flow is still coming in and it's actually increasing, which is huge. Relative strength is plateauing and we're technically oversold. And the VWAP is curving down, but we haven't curved down yet on the 24-minute, which is that's the time frame I generally trade on. Okay. We do have some sort of bearish divergence though on the coming in right here, but we do have a green dot that's pumping, so that probably won't play out yet. We also made a golden cross right here with the 21 crossing the 50. The green money flow is still going up. The VWAP's kind of tiptoeing, bouncing around. We're technically at +1, which is just barely up, which means that the money is still coming in, which is a really good sign. And the fact that we're above 60, usually we'll get fake outs before we actually decide to take a breather. And we, as you can see, boom, we drop down, fake out, come up, fake out, come up, fake out. So we might get a continue, and we might get a secondary fake out like up over here. We might pump up to 106 and fake out down to where we're currently at, which is when you almost have to start getting that rounded top scenario going on. We have on the 4-hour, we have a blue triangle, which is Market Cipher A, lighting up one line, which you can see right here. There's a little bit of color coming in off that line, which is super bullish, or not super bullish, but it's getting bullish. We have around 21 starting to round up, and the 50, which is this darker red line coming in, starting to round up. The VWAP is above the 0 line. If I had to guess, we're going to continue up on this blue oscillating wave, but we might actually be trading sideways on it, and then we might plateau somewhere over here, and then we'll shoot up again. And the reason why we're drawing out, trying to figure out what's actually going on over here, because this VWAP wave is slightly coming down, and it's not coming down harsh like this, where you get that hard negative drop, but we might also kind of see like it'll slowly come down and get a splash below the 0 line, and that uses as a springboard to almost continue our upward more action. The green line is saying we're oversold right now, so we should go up with strength coming in to support that thesis. Now, granted, guys, this is charting, and charting, the charts are always alive. So I'm telling this on the 4 hour. Well, the 1 minute's still printing as we speak. So you're trying to project out, but you always have to kind of come back to what you talked about earlier in the day and seeing that's what's actually playing out if the scenario is changing. Now we come over here on the 12 hour, which is a really strong indicator. It actually, there's some mixed messages going on here. You know,
I see a MW.
well,
You see it?
I do. Oh, do you? I use hike and a sheet candles, so these are regular candles. I like the
Okay.
hike and the sheet because I feel like it cleans it up a little bit, helps my eyes when I'm trading.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever used hike and a sheet?
I have not.
Yeah, hike and a sheet is cool. That's what CryptoFace uses.
Okay.
He says it's kind of like a built-in Elliott wave, but if it's kind of interesting because you come over here and you're like green, red, green, red, green, red, but like it's still coming down. Why didn't you just make it all red? Because that kind
Right.
of helps. You know what I mean? And I don't know
Yeah.
how they figured that out, but I was like, that works really well for me. Or like kind of it going up like this, you get like these crazy ass spikes, but then hiking the sheet's
Mm-hmm.
all like it just kind of goes up. There's your
Yeah.
one crazy candle that was like a giant. It gets rid of all the longs and it comes up and gets rid of all the shorts and finishes because hiking the sheet uses
They've
the
been doing
previous.
that so much too.
Oh, dude, and it's my trading. It freaks me out, bro. I'm like, can't look. I'm just gonna go
Yep.
to something else. But that's so I do see kind of a bearish thing on the 12 hours. Like the 21 crossed through the 50, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that because that's short term death cross. But that also death crosses are what lagging indicators. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. But the current moment, with that being the only round to the downside, we have strength coming in. Technically, we're overbought, but the VWAP is still continuing up. You can see it has a slight ajar upwards angle, but the money flow is coming down, and money makes things grow. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on it as we're losing. We always say on our channel, the top of the money flow to the bottom of the red is where the money is going out. The bottom of the red wave to the top of the green, so 50-50, is where the money is coming in. We do have almost like a double bottom right here on the blue oscillating momentum waves, and we are flipped bullish right now with this green dot. So that is a good sign for us. So hopefully we can continue our pumping and see how it goes. We on the 1 day, we do have a strong indicator that has not closed yet because we still have 4.5 hours. But this indicator closes, we have an anchor wave, trigger wave with the green dot, with the VWAP technically positive right now, just barely even getting started. The money flow is absolutely thick compared to the 12 hour, which was coming down. And we have a strength coming up, and the saying that we're oversold is coming in, which is huge. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on this. The daily is strong. Also, the 21 is pushing up right now as we speak. That is beautiful to see that on the 1 day. I love that. The 2 day, it all hasn't quite caught up to the 1 day yet. But if this VWAP comes up and we come down and make a little tight trigger wave, that will give the 1 day and 2 day confirmation. And that's what we're seeing is actually going to play out. And we're going to be coming up to like 130,000, probably 116, maybe 116, 120. The 3 days still doing the same thing as the 2 day. We're kind of projecting out. Now, this one does kind of worry me a little bit. This is the 5 day. And we almost have some sort of bearish divergence coming in. So we kind of have to keep an eye on it. I don't know if you could start from here. Trent kind of makes an argument where you're not supposed to cut through candles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these are hiking a sheet. Well, I guess, if you use regular candles, it does still kind of show that bearish divergence.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit nervousing. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And the VWAP is coming down, but on the weekly and the monthly is the one we really care about. And the weekly, that bearish divergence is 100% here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And we have our first red candle, but that doesn't mean we can't trade sideways and reset short term. So guys, don't let that get you into a panic. But on the monthly, this is huge. Okay, look, we have a green dot on the monthly. Ironically enough, we had this green dot the previous month, and at 3 hours before the candle closed, it disappeared. But then it came back. But if we can get this to close, we will be pumping through the summer. So we have to keep an eye on that. This is our biggest indicator we've been watching. And as you can see, we've been having our fake outs along the way. We shoot up, we got a fake out. We shoot up, we got a fake out. Now, are we going to shoot up again to, well, I don't know. How long is this candle? 160 to 30 grand. So can we shoot up 30 grand from here? I'll put us like at 120-ish area. No, maybe like 130. This is my line. I'm just trying to eyeball it. I'll put us like 130. Can we get that extra pump? Yeah, maybe. When we kind of keep an eye on this monthly candle, we have 23 days left to our closes. So if that projects out, it'll be like a July pump, which could come in with a Fed rate cut. So hopefully can get a bull summer. That'd be nice. Do you think when do you think this bull market is going to end, JJ? I mean, granted, no one really truly knows, but
if I had to guess, I'm guessing right now that we're entering a proper bull market. I think that what has occurred so far has been Bitcoin and alts reaching fair valuation, and a lot of people argue that alts haven't moved. In my opinion, the right alts are up 3-4x from the bear market lows. They're reaching fair valuation. People overreacted. Everything got sold off like crazy. We went to zero, and now Bitcoin's 100K. Altcoins are 3-4x from the bottom. I think we're entering the bull market right now, and if I had to guess on an end, I would guess early to mid 2026.
Sure. I agree with that. Actually, I'm going to show some supporting data to that. So I think it's really interesting is market side on the monthly is crazy accurate. So you get a green dot right here saying these are monthly candles. So each candle is a month. The green dot flipped bullish, right? Well, that was the bottom of the last bear market, January 2023. That's crazy. You bought the bottom. You'd be still riding this all the way up and enjoying every single moment of it. And in fact, it even told you when there would be a little fake out. It says red dot, fake out, boom, came in. We got a green dot again. Get back in. We're gonna pump. Boom, we continuing up. Red dot, fake out. So you can be playing these, but on the bottoms, that's super tight trigger action. And here's the top of the last bull run right here. Okay. And we also get those red dots saying bull run over, get out. So it tells you when to leave. And now if you go back over to this previous other green dot down here, this is the bottom of the last bull run back in, 2019? April 2019. It said get in. You could have got in, just chilled out for a little bit, played with that little flippity floppity, and then whoosh, ran that green momentum bottom trigger wave all the way up, and you would have ran it all the way up till you got your green dot say it's time to get out. And that would have been a crazy buy. And then another thing is, I'll check it. I'll work it backwards. If you come over here to these green dots, I'm trying to make math work for me. This is the bottom of green dot. You would have bought either of these green dots, would have been July or October 15. You would have bought that back in 2015, literally before Bitcoin's parabolic, immense bull run, just go absolutely wild. And then you would have had a red dot right here. Yeah, you wouldn't have caught the top, but that was pretty freaking close to the freaking top. You know what I mean? And if you really are paying attention, you could have seen the blue oscillator wave flip right here. And that would have been one of the primary candles to tell you it's getting out. I mean, you could have swapped it down to the weekly and also gotten a little closer, a dog scalpel and went into those candles to figure out that was actually a time play. Especially if you see it not making a higher high compared to the previous month, you would have known that was dangerous zone.
Right.
Also, these candles kind of are cool using market cipher A because it does kind of tell you like when the previous tops were. So we go to look at this top. It says December, January. Okay. December, January. Those are our months. Next top was actually over here with the fake out from FTX. We go October, November. So we have December, January, October, November. Where's the other one? I'm missing one. Is it over here? Why am I missing one bull run? One bull run. A second bull run. Am I missing the...
I think it was that one that you went to 2014, 2013, 2014.
Oh. Well, if this is the bull run, it's also, I think you're right. Oh yeah, I see the other candles.
Yeah.
That's also November, December. So my time frame for those peaks will be
It's usually
October
winter.
to January.
Mhm.
October to January will be the windows where we have to be very careful in watching the.
And it makes sense too, because in the summertime, everyone's going out doing stuff. They're not sitting inside investing, paying attention to charts or anything. You don't really care about charts when it's summer,
Right.
People's viewer numbers go down. Everyone's out doing stuff. It's summertime, touching grass. And then winter comes around. It gets cold outside, and everybody wants to sit down and try and double your your Christmas budget.
Yeah, right.
And then we get Santa rallies and all that.
Well, in the last bull run was FTX. Those summer months were not great before we had that final run up.
Right.
And then what was the next one? This is next previous run. That's 19. Summer months back here were, I would say, almost sideways.
Mm-hmm.
You grow it a little bit. That's almost sideways before they kind of ran up into the fun months, fun Christmas months. And then the last one, I kind of should play around with the monthly candles on some of the alts, but the alts aren't that old.
Right.
April, May. So June, flat before the fun time came. So guys, just kind of hang out, chill out. If we have to trade sideways, even a little bit down over the monthly candles, it is okay.
Good accumulation time for sure.
Good accumulation time. I wonder if I can switch it to monthly, but we're uber bullish on the daily. So come back up. So guys, we're gonna watch the daily and see how it plays out. Hopefully we can close positive. We'll see. We got 4 hours left. This could be an indicator to all the other indicators. If this flips an anchor trigger wave, I would say that we will be having upwards momentum. And the next stopping floor would be 108 area before we decide if we want to break a new all-time high. I mean, you have any charts for us, JJ? You want to pull up, or because I know the 1 hour?
Nothing in particular. I'm liking the 4 hour.
Oh,
we got like a.
You want to show your chart on the screen?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Right.
You want to try the hiking the sheet candles out? They look clean.
How do I? Can you pull it up for me?
Yeah, I can.
How to do
it?
Do you just drag and drop?
No, it says add a stage.
Oh.
You go
okay, I gotta click the little.
Yeah. Do you use StreamYard? This is StreamYard.
I do not. I just use OBS. Okay.
You might need me to add a. Wait, sorry. I threw you off stage too. Yeah, you're back.
Okay, we're good.
You're good. Sorry, I
right.
clicked the wrong one.
So yeah, we've been in this little range for forever, little downwards channel, and we're breaking out right now as we speak. That's kind of all I got, which is crazy because
we are breaking out. That is nice.
Usually the liquid. Let me refresh the.
We're breaking out the 4 hour. That's giving the daily confirmation too.
And we usually almost never see. I see how this mirrors top and bottom look the same on the liquidation heat map. We almost never go into either of these until Sunday evening. So if we start breaking into these liquidation points, then there's like genuine weekend momentum, which is crazy, like unheard of.
Yeah. Wow, it was spicy too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Bitcoin, and then hopefully alts follow.
Too. Yeah, let's go. Get our alt bags pumping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, before we wrap it up, you got any last thoughts? Anything you want to say to your followers? Anyone out there listening?
Followers, subscribe to Blockchain Brew. And to your people, subscribe to JJ's Cryptic Corner. Looking forward to some more collabs in the future. This was super fun.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. JJ Crypto, he's an up-and-coming channel. In fact, he's bigger than us right now. Hopefully, we can catch up to this gentleman. He is a scholar. He is awesome. He is fun company. We'll apologize that Trentinator is not here, but we'll be back. We're going to do more collabs together. We'll both pleasantly enjoyed this experience. It was awesome. It was fun to be able to see different views on it, the charts, different views on the altcoins, and the fact that I'm bullish on Sneckies. I think I'm gonna go buy me one of those statues after this because man, that was sick. What did you guys think after watching those get made? He went and found those videos for us. We appreciate him showing up on a Saturday because we all know our Saturdays, everyone's Saturday is busy, right?
Mhm.
And so, guys, give him a follow, like, and subscribe to his channel. He is a stud out there putting in the work, man. So, thank you guys for showing up. You guys enjoy your Saturdays. Dabbing out. You can't dab with one hand.